If you're a woman and you're 40 and above, maybe you've noticed some change in your body composition, your body architecture. A lot of women, as they get into their 40s, mid 40s, 50s, and beyond, start complaining about, I'm losing my muscle tone, I'm getting a belly. So basically, muscle is wasting, fat on the body's increasing, and this is very frustrating. So there is a reason for this that I want to explain to you. This is not my research. A man by the name of Don Lehman has done 40 years of research into amino acids and muscle protein synthesis. So muscles are made of protein. You need to consume protein in order to make muscle. And so a lot of times this association of, well, you're just getting older, that's what happens, you know, and you're losing estrogen, and this is not untrue. You do lose estrogen and you start to get into this muscle wasting, but it doesn't have to be an inevitability. And what's important about this is, you know, you're not going to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger and you're going to have, you know, all these big bulky muscles. Not at all. If you're my age or younger, you know what I'm talking about. You're just like the loss of tone, and then you get the belly and you're flabby, and so there's the aesthetic point of it, but there's also the fact that as we get older, we want to stay strong. We don't want to fall. We don't want to trip and fall and break a bone. You know, we want to be robust. And the thing about having enough muscle also then is connected to cognitive health. There's something called BDNF, brain-derived neurotropic factor. All it means is that you continue to have strength and energy given to your brain so that you have a brain that functions, you know, you have the only brain you've ever had and you know how it works. And when all of a sudden it stops working that way and you get into brain fog and memory issues, it's very disconcerting. This is tied in, your brain health is tied into your muscle health. So what do? There's an amino acid called leucine. Now you have essential amino acids and non-essential amino acids, and leucine is one of the 9 essential amino acids, which means there's 22 total, 9 essential. So the other 11, no, 13, 22, yep. The others you can make from the foods that you eat, but the essential you have to consume. So leucine is an essential amino acid. I hope I said that correctly earlier. Anyway, I'll say it correctly now. Leucine is an essential amino acid, meaning you have to consume it. Now, what Dr. Lehman's research has proven and has shown to us is that you need 2.5 to 3 grams of leucine in your major meals. Now, the research on this, especially for we women, is that you want to bookend your meals with the higher protein, meaning your first meal of the day, whether that's breakfast or not, breakfast would be good, and then also your last meal of the day. So you're bookending your day, meaning you're breaking your fast from sleeping with high enough protein, and then not right before you go to bed, you want to have a good 3 hours before sleep after your evening meal. But your last meal of the day, you want to bookend again with high protein, because then you go into your fast at night. So you're basically bookending the fast with a high protein meal. Okay, so we said 2.5 to 3 grams of leucine. And so what are we trying to do? We're trying to prevent muscle wasting. We're trying to increase muscle strength, because that's the other thing that happens as we get older. We're not as strong, and you're at the airport and you're trying to lift your bag above, your seat, and you're looking for some guy, and I'm not trying to be sexist, but this has happened to me, where I'm like, excuse me, sir, can you throw that up there? You want that strength, not only for the airport, but for just day-to-day life, and to make sure you don't have brittle bones and weakness, so that you're more likely to injure yourself, okay? All right, so then we need this 2.5 to 3 grams. So I want to go over where you get this, because, actually I wanted to go over the mechanism. So you eat protein and then it's got to have enough leucine in it. Leucine increases in the blood, and then that triggers this signaling system. This is what Dr. Don Layman figured out over his 40 years of research. It triggers a signaling system which is called, in the muscles, that's called mTOR, and then that stimulates muscle protein synthesis. So you need protein, and it has all these amino acids in it, but leucine is the one that sort of triggers this muscle protein synthesis. So that's what's very key. Now, the other tricky thing is as we get older, we need more high quality protein, but we need less calories. Not dramatically less, but our metabolism isn't as fast, so we tend to put weight on if we're eating like we did when we were a teenager, as an example. So to get more protein and less calories, I've really been sort of, noodling on this to see what are the really good sources of protein. Now, I have been 98% vegan, if not 100% vegan, for about 15 years. And I like to work out. And I was discovering that there's a machine we have, it's called a bioimpedance analysis, but it's a sophisticated machine that will tell you your weight, it'll tell you how much is muscle, how much is fat, it measures how much fat around your organs, how much fat in each of your extremities, your middle, all of this. So it gives a lot of information. And I've never had a weight problem per se, but I've noticed in the last year or two, all of a sudden my percentage of muscle is going down. So I wasn't fat, but I was now in the category of under-muscled, which annoyed me because I work out like 5+ times a week. So I was like, why am I under-muscled? So the combination of things. So I like a plant-forward diet. I truly do. A little bit of fish, Mediterranean style. Okay, great. And I'm just telling you my personal story, but this is what the research is showing, is that as we get older, we need higher quality protein. We need enough of it and then not too much in the calorie arena. So this, as I said, takes a little noodling. So I want to go over some of the foods that a serving is enough leucine. And remember, you don't need to worry so much about the middle of the day. You want the bookending of this 2.5 to 3 grams of leucine is what we're going for. So a very easy one is whey protein isolate. Now, I hadn't consumed any dairy in any sort for probably 20 years. Whey protein isolate does not have the factors that trigger, a good quality one, does not have the factors that trigger dairy sensitivity if you tend to be a little sensitive to dairy, which I do. So I've been playing with this. I got a very high quality whey protein isolate. I didn't get all snotty and mucousy, which is what my body typically does. So 1 scoop of the whey protein isolate has only 100 calories. So it's 20 grams of protein, again, getting enough of the leucine. So it's a very easy way to do it. Another low-cal way is lean ground beef. Now, if you refuse beef, I understand. I'm just giving you the data and then you can understand. So this is, you can make your own decisions. So lean ground beef, a 1/4 pound, which isn't very much if you like burgers. So a 1/4 pound burger is pretty small, but has enough leucine and it's only 155 calories. So this is good. Then you have salmon. I really love salmon. I love fish to have in the diet, especially as we get older. And Dr. Walter Longo's work for the longevity diet, he likes a few servings of fish a week. So it aligns with longevity, which is what we're going for. So 7 ounces of salmon. I think it depends on the type because it went from anywhere from 280 calories to 380 calories, but still pretty low. So then we move into the plant sources, and soybeans, just under 1/2 cup, has 443 calories. So that's more than 4 times what the whey protein had. Ditto on the beef. In hemp seeds, now I love hemp seeds, they're part of my chia pudding every morning, but to get enough of the leucine, you need a little more than 1 cup, which is 573 calories. That would be tough to get down and very highly caloric. Peanuts, you'd need more than 120 peanuts, and it's 600 calories. Pumpkin seeds, I'm not going to go through every food. This is the last one. So pumpkin seeds, 3/4 of a cup to get enough of the leucine. It's 446 calories. So you see the problem. Now, if you're somebody who, is very slender and you just burn. I've never been that type of person, but if you are, then you can play with it and just see, the weight you like and getting enough of the leucine. You do have to sort of play with this for your own body. But I can tell you that I've just been in this newer arena because I was getting very frustrated at working out so much and not seeing any change and getting under muscle, literally losing muscle despite working out aggressively, 5-6 days a week. And I was like, okay, there's something up here. And I don't give in easily. And that's how, we help our patients is we learn more, right? So we're constantly trying to understand better what these human bodies are doing. So this is just a facet of getting older. Now, if you have little children, like up until your 20s, your body just like sucks every little bit of amino acids out of the protein that you eat, and you don't need as much. We're very efficient. Unfortunately, as we get older, we get less efficient, and that's why these animal-based proteins tend to be a higher quality for us. It really has to do with age, so something to think about. The other thing, the last point I want to go over is you have to pair this with resistance training if you want to get muscle strength the way you want to be strong and not turning into fat and not getting under muscled like myself. I'll give you an update on that soon. But you need resistance training. So we need to work out a bit harder, actually. The opposite of what you think. It's like, oh, I'm getting older. I don't want to do too much. I don't want to hurt myself. Now, if you want to do it on a gradient, certainly. Stacy Sims is somebody that has some books, and then Gabrielle Lyon has some books, and these are women who sort of focus more on women. Another little tidbit is that the research on intermittent fasting and on resistance training and how to get stronger muscles is mostly, not mostly, pretty much all, that's mostly, very much close to all on men and young men. And as Stacy Sims says, women are not small men. So it's different bodies reacting differently, going through perimenopause, menopause, things change and we have to react to that. So kind of cogitate on this a little bit, play with it, see how you do. It's this leucine for the muscle protein synthesis, and we need 30 grams of protein in those bookended meals. You'll probably need a little bit more, especially if you have a very small lunch that's more snack-like, but minimum 30 grams to sort of trigger the signaling system, and then the other trigger is 2.5 to 3 grams of leucine. So I hope that helps. Play with it a little bit. You have to see how your body responds. By the way, if you like this channel, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. We definitely have more viewers than we have subscribers, and that's how more people see this information. So I hope you found this helpful. If you need some assistance, my team and I are here for you, and just give the clinic a call.